What's up, guys? C'est Sam OG, and I'm gonna jump on the bandwagon, and I'm gonna reply to this conversation about aesthetic. And I posted the disembowel video about like the 5e and the people that are the whole idea of, all right, so a great RPG experience is an RPG where everybody role plays, and there's this discussion about, Main Man kind of started it when he was talking about the trash of the people that they get around the table and they munchkin, So it's all about this, the munchkiny type of playing where you don't really role play. You just you roll dice and you go through the motion, talk out characters and just, there's plenty of it, on YouTube, and there's plenty of it in the culture. And then the thing is that there's this conversation about what is, it always turns into this polarity between, is it good, is it bad, is it the good role playing, is it the bad way to role play, and kind of thing. And there's this and I'm like, obviously they all part of the same hobby, in a different culture, in the same hobby. But the thing is that Munchkin, there's so many of them out there that you cannot deny them. It is a way to do it. Now, the whole idea is about the roleplay thing, and do these guys roleplay? Really little. Sometimes they're gonna talk in character, the dwarf's gonna take a dwarven voice, and the other guys are pretty much not really taking voices, not really having, they don't have personalities, because most of the time, the Munchkin guys don't have nothing on their sheet for that. Even in 5e, they ask for personality stuff, and what I see from my experience in 5e, most people, they don't even care about that much. So it's about culture of play. It's about also the games you play, because the game creates the culture. And this is something that we shall remember, because if you look at the guys that play like World of Darkness, the old Wild Wolf, these guys are more narrativists. They go into they want deep character, the complicated stories of stuff, and they have a game for it. They have a game that has, they have edges and flaws on their character sheet, and they are mechanically embedded in a way that it kind of like forces them to actually do it, and So, but it's so small still. So small. And if you go into the big Munchkin, Pathfinder, D&D guys, these guys, they have nothing for personalities and character and stuff like that on their sheet. So they it's really hard for them to role play it out, So it's like, what do you want to say to these guys? Like, you want to say, hey, start to role play. The game doesn't reward you for it. The people around the table, they don't even really listen to the stuff you're saying, because they want to get going, because it's always about getting going, So what do you see from that? What does it tell you? It tells you that role-playing doesn't come easy if you don't have the right game. Because the thing I notice is that, of course, it's possible to role-play even if the game is not really built for it, because they call them all role-playing games. Take, for example, we're gonna take the worst of the worst, like Pathfinder and D&D 4. Because D&D 5, like Disembowel said in his video, like I said before, it has a potential to bring back roleplay into it, because you have the background, the features, and the flaws, and the personalities on the side of the sheet. The front sheet in your face, it's small, but it's there. But if you take those worst games, like Pathfinder in 4 edition, like, these games, they have nothing for you. So, but you can still doing it. So they call themselves role-playing game, but you can still do it, like, because it's a cultural thing as well. It starts from the culture. If the game doesn't have it on the sheet and in the mechanic, most of the time you're not gonna have role play, even if it's called role playing game. You know, the only role playing you're gonna have is your class and the stuff that it does mechanically. And but in terms of character and personalities and voices and role playing, I mean, it's really gonna be hard for the player to actually embody it. It's really gonna be hard. It's gonna be harder. I mean, I tried it and I've noticed already. You know, if you don't have something narrative on the sheet for you and mechanically embedded, it's hard to bring that character forward. It's harder. It's really harder. So now, and if you go on the other side, you take a game like it doesn't have to be a narrativist game. It can be a super gamist game, but you have stuff on the sheet that is like a currency that helps you going on. So for me, the best example is like Fate, stuff like Burning Wheel, Apocalypse World, Feed, you know, like Torchbearer, games that have like the whole character sheet is centered around your belief, your instincts, the stuff you are, the personality traits, the characteristic of the character, like what he has in the past. You know, take a look at Feed. Feed is a really good example of that. So when you play a game like that, how do you want to get away from roleplay? Because every time you roll the dice, there is a narrative aspect of your personality that is being rolled, that is being conflicted, and might gonna be hurt and change. Like, how do you want to get away from roleplay? You know. So you play a game like that, it's gonna be more easy. Now, in terms of culture, you know, bring back the idea that the game creates the culture. If you go into a Feed group or Burning Wheel group or Apocalypse World group, or, you know, like Dogs in the Vineyard, whatever, you go in these groups, you can be sure that there's gonna be roleplay, ROLE, because the game is made like that. But if you go in a D&D game or a Pathfinder game or a really munchkiny game, you don't know what you're gonna get. That's the thing. You might gonna fall in a group that people roleplay a little bit. Always gonna be like secondary, because that's not what the game is designed kind of thing for. So it's really gonna be hard, man. It's hard on the players. And I've listened to a guy, I don't remember his name, I'm sorry, but he said, when I first started like 2 years ago, I was playing Pathfinder and I was a munchkin. I couldn't understand. That's like, the video is out there. It's one recent video. He says it all, man. It's like, these games are not made for role playing that much, you know. So that being said, it's really important. Like, choosing the right game for you is like one of the number one thing you need to learn, you know, in the hobby, and what you want to do, and finding the game that does it. Because, you know, anyway, that being said, talking about aesthetic, because that comes down in the loop, you know. And I was listening Rodney Game Master Toolbox video this morning, and he talks about it, and I'm like, okay, so coming from this Envowel video, there is this kind of debate about what is good role playing, what is bad role playing, you know. And I was like, yeah, the debate is gonna be clunky, because, you know, the word role playing, sometimes it's used as you know, every time you play a role playing game, you're role playing, you know. And some people are using it as a method actor. If you go on Maps and Dragon, he's really big on that thing. So it's like, when he talks about role playing, he doesn't talk about playing a role playing game. He talks about acting a role, you know. And these are like, you know, different variation on a huge spectrum. So don't want to try to define what role playing is, but let's see what we can do. Like, what I want to do, what I'm gonna say is, I'm just gonna share with you a personal experience I had, mine. When I first came in the hobby, I was big on the rules are ugly. You know, talk about aesthetic here. I was like, the rules are ugly. You don't want to have some rules. You don't want to have people mentioning rules in the game. So I kind of designed it a way with Rob, the Swamper. We talked many hours about that. I kind of designed it the way, we kind of designed it the way to play without mentioning the rules. And and we tried it. We had this traveler experiment. We went for 20, almost 20 sessions, like 17 session, 18 session, about not mentioning the rules. And we did it. I mean, it was crazy. Like 90% of the whole thing was in character. 90%. The whole idea was the GM is not talking much. The players never ask questions. Never ask questions. You just wing it. You wing it, you know? Anyway, I talked about that many times. So we did it. It was a success in that sense for me, but it was so demanding. Like it was excruciating to play like that for the players, for the GM as well, and really, it's not worth it. That's my experience. It's not worth it. It might be beautiful, but it's still a game. It's not beautiful. It's not a art. And a role-playing game thing is not art. A role-playing session is not. It's not an art. It's not acting. It's not theater. It's a game. And Burning Wheel made me change my mind about that, and the indie games as well. And I don't play like that anymore, and I have way more fun, you know. So trying to say that, you know, you have trash sessions and all that, of course, man, you're gonna have those worst sessions, and again, it's a matter of culture of play, a matter of game design. Like what games do you play, and what kind of culture are you in when you are in this group, you know. So, you know, you can say that it's trash, you can say that it's boring, of course. Is it really helpful to the conversation? I don't know, man. Just think about a spectrum. Think about culture and games, different culture, and just, you know, find where you are in that thing, and the fun you're gonna get for sure, because you're gonna play the way you want to play. So that's what I wanted to say. I mean, I tried it. I wanted that. I don't even want it anymore. I don't even want to go there anymore. It's not worth it. All right. Talk to you guys soon.